Hey everybody, week 4 of my Scare-athon, where I'm watching horror movies for the month of October. And each weekday has a different theme, so I'll get right to it. Mondays are Maniac Mondays. Switched it up this week. Instead of a Maniac film, I really chose a film that's just about a family just trying to live together in peace until these meddling teens come along and interrupt things. And they're just rude and impolite. And of course that family film is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Horror classic, of course. If you've never seen it, you definitely need to see it. I talked a little bit last week about different types of horror films. Some of them are just fun horror films. They're entertaining and there's a sense of fun about the movie. And I talked about other horror movies make you feel like you have to take a shower afterwards. And that's what Texas Chainsaw Massacre is. You feel like you gotta take about 10 good hot showers to get the grime off of you. And that's not a criticism. That's exactly, I'm sure, what Tobe Hooper was trying to do with the film. Because everything from the music to the look of it is just really grim and gritty. It's a violent film, yet it's not a graphic film. Some people think it's more graphic than it actually really is. You never actually see a chainsaw tearing into flesh or, hooks impaling people. It's all, you see the action, but you don't see the actual result. But again, it is violent, just not graphic. But it's well done in that it's kind of like Psycho, where you're almost convinced you see the knife go in. Same thing here. And that's the result of the way it's shot and the way it's edited. And then Tuesday is Too Many Zombies Tuesday, and I started watching Walking Dead Season 2. I had seen Season 1 when it first came out. Honestly, I was underwhelmed, but I wanted to give it another chance because, there's a lot of diehard fans of that show. And I started it on Tuesday, and I peppered in some episodes throughout the week. Watched a couple this morning. I'm about 7 episodes in. I finished up, for those of you who've seen it, there's a story arc where a little girl that's in their group goes missing. And I've finished, I think it's either 6 or 7, where the result of that is shown. And as I was watching all those episodes, I was thinking, this better have some payoff. And luckily it did. It paid off really well. But that said, I'm still not completely sold on this show. A big reason for that is the characters. I'm not really a fan of the characters. Some of it's the acting, some of it's the writing. If I felt more invested in the characters, I would enjoy the show a whole lot more. Because everything to do with zombies, whenever they encounter zombies, those scenes are great. The kills are graphic, which, is amazing that it's on TV and is as graphic as it is. But also creative. The effects, the makeup effects, and some digital effects, really fantastic. And I just wish I was invested more in the characters, but I'm not. That said, I still have to finish up the 2nd season, so who knows, things might turn around. I've not gotten to, there's a character I've seen pictures of a chick with a samurai sword, so, hey, I'm excited about that, samurai swords and zombies, yeah, sounds good. Okay, so that was Too Many Zombies Tuesday. Werewolf Wednesday, I watched Silver Bullet. There's kind of a fun thing that happens in these marathons where it's not intentional, but actors might show up in more than one movie, and that's what's happened here. I saw Lost Boys last week, Corey Haim's in that. Corey Haim's also in Silver Bullet, and I didn't intend for that. I just realized it as I put it in. I was like, oh yeah, Corey Haim is in this. But this is a solid werewolf flick from a Stephen King, I believe a short story. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's a short story. And Corey Haim, he's a kid in a souped-up wheelchair made by his crazy uncle, played by Gary Busey. So if you're not sold on werewolves, you should be sold on Corey Haim plus Gary Busey, because that's just too good to pass up. So that was Wednesday. Thursday is Bloodthirsty Thursday, and I watched a movie that I had never seen before called Stakeland. Didn't know much about it other than it was about vampires, and some people like it. And I watched it, and I really liked it. It's a post-apocalyptic. It's actually interesting that I saw it the same week that I am revisiting or watching the second season of Walking Dead, because it's pretty much the same premise, except instead of zombies, they're vampires. It's a post-apocalyptic world. No, government and all that is crumbled because of these vampire attacks. These vampires in this movie are more feral. They're not the smart, sparkling vampires. Some cool things about it. You've got a kid who's taken on by this, I guess he's become like kind of a cultish legendary vampire killer. Kind of like the man with no name in the Sergio Leone movies. He's only known as Mr. And this kid is taken on kind of as his protege for killing vampires after he saves them while his parents are killed. I should also add, it's a very dark film. They go to some pretty dark places right away in the film, so it sets you up right in the beginning that you know this is going to be a dark movie. But really well done. Not only do you have the vampires as antagonists, but there's also this cult known as the Brotherhood, who's kind of a crazy religious cult that kind of uses the vampires to their advantage, and they make for really good antagonists as well. And just how it plays out, I thought was really well done. It probably is a little light on character development, but you do have the nice archetype of the kind of silent hero, mysterious hero, which is Mr. So I enjoy those types of movies. So I thought it was really well done as far as being post-apocalyptic and being a vampire flick. So I hope they make a sequel, because it was really well done. So that is Stakeland. Highly recommend it. So then Friday is Found Footage Friday, and I watched Blair Witch Project, and of course Blair Witch is kind of the granddaddy of all found footage films, made back in the 90s. I talked about it a little bit in last week's video when I was talking about The Last Broadcast, which came out the same year. So I'll just bring it up again. Blair Witch Project, I like it, but I do feel like it falls flat in the end. You feel like you've got this big mystery surrounding what happened to this film crew out in the woods, and when you finally get to something at the end, it just feels a little empty. For those of you wondering if you should upgrade to Blu-ray, I would say no. Because the source material really isn't anything that would show a lot of good definition. You're probably not missing much. I haven't done any type of side-by-side comparison or anything. I didn't own it on DVD, and the Blu-ray was $5, so I sprung for it. Sorry, didn't have a lot to say about that. So that was Found Footage Friday. Saturday is Supernatural Saturday, and I watched the original Amityville Horror. I've never seen it before, and I found it very entertaining. I liked it quite a bit. I like a good ghost story, and this is, supposedly one of the classic ghost stories, so I thought it held up. I really enjoyed it. It's got a lot in common with The Shining, where you have in this case, the stepfather seems to be slowly going crazy or possessed. I won't say how that turns out, but it turns out different, of course, than The Shining. But, somewhat similar there. This is also another movie that has, in this case, an actress who was in another movie I saw during my Scare-athon. Margot Kidder was in Black Christmas, and she's in Amityville Horror as well. So yeah, I found it very entertaining. A couple of things don't really hold up very well, but thankfully there's not a lot of them. There's a couple of visual effects that just looked pretty bad. But other than that, I thought it held up pretty well. All the stuff with Rod Steiger is fantastic. And overall, just a really good, creepy film. So, recommend Amityville Horror. And then Sunday is Subscriber Suggestion Sunday. And this was actually ended up being a perfect movie to segue into my next week that I'm going to be doing. It's a movie called Satan's Little Helper that someone suggested. And the reason I feel like it's going to tie into next week is it's based during Halloween, and all the movies I'm going to watch next week are going to be based on Halloween. So that's a nice little segue movie. Now, as far as the movie, I saw it on Netflix Instant Watch. It's an interesting, kind of fun little movie. It's you know those movies that you might catch on TV while you're switching channels on like a Sunday or Saturday afternoon, and it's entertaining enough that you just watch it, and you know, if you think to yourself, "That was a good little movie." That's how I feel about Satan's Little Helper, because you can tell it's low budget. It pretty much looks like a TV movie quality as far as production values. As far as what it's about, it's just crazy little concept of this little kid is really into a video game called Satan's Little Helper, where he's helping Satan kill these people in these grisly ways in the video game. The kid's really into the video game. He's dressed up as Satan's Little Helper for Halloween. And then he's strolling through his town and he sees this guy in this devil mask, I guess, pulling a body out in front of a house that's decorated for Halloween and setting it up beside another Halloween decoration. And he thinks it's just an elaborate Halloween decoration, but it's a dead body. And basically this kid starts following around this serial killer who, and he believes he's playing the role of Satan, and he's trying to be Satan's little helper. Now with that, it's a very kind of tongue-in-cheek movie, so it's, you know, the mysterious serial killer wearing the mask will do thumbs up and stuff like that while he's, you know, playing along with this kid. It actually reminded me a lot of Bad Santa, in that, you know, it's this kid who thinks this icon is who he is, but instead of Santa, it's Satan, if that makes sense. But anyway, yeah, it's a quirky little movie. Again, don't have your expectations too high, because, like I said, production value's pretty low. The acting is pretty dodgy. The kid actor can be a little annoying to me. But it's kind of a fun, dark comedy horror, basically. So, yeah. So that's Satan's Little Helper. Now let's talk about what I'm doing for next week, because like I said, that's a good segue into the Halloween movies I'm going to be seeing next week. Now, I'm only going to be doing about 4 or 5 movies. I'm not doing a full week. I'm just doing the days leading up to Halloween. So in no particular order, I'm going to watch Lady in White, which is a great ghost story that I'll talk about in the next video. I'm going to watch the original Halloween, and that may actually even be a separate video. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to do that. Then Trick or Treat, not the 80s Trick or Treat with Gene Simmons and Ozzy Osbourne. The more recent Trick or Treat, which is a great anthology movie that I'm a big fan of. And then finally, as my kind of segue into the holidays, I'm going to end up with Nightmare Before Christmas. You got your Halloween, you got your Christmas, little bridging the gap there. So, those are the movies I'll be watching for the next few days. And I'm not sure when those videos will go up, but just keep an eye out. Alright, so there you have it. That's my Scare-athon video. Boom.